Hey now, boys and girls, technical difficulties abound, but we are in fact now live, ready to talk about the San Jose Sharks and the Pacific Division just 24 hours. See, and I'm having more technical difficulties. Okay, so we're fine with that. So let's just see where we go from here, because honestly, it can only get better, is what I'm saying.
No, it can't.
And you know what? And I almost have it dialed in.
Worse.
One moment. If I can hit the right button. And there it is. So I am joined with the one and only Rocket Backhander.
Good evening.
Well, that remains to be seen. Puck Guy.
Good hockey eve, everyone. Great to be here and to get this hockey season going.
And of course, we are joined by the one, the only
Brodie, Brazil.
That's where I'll be tomorrow night. While you guys are all watching hockey, I'll be
is there something going on tomorrow?
Yeah, a little baseball game. It's the biggest conflict professionally, I think, schedule-wise, I've had in a very long time. But hey, you know what? I wasn't invited to a hockey party tomorrow night anyway, so I found other ways to fill my time.
Well, tomorrow's a national game, right? So it kind of actually worked out perfectly for you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why. Yeah, it's one of those situations where I would have been probably just on social following along with everybody else. But yeah, luckily there's something for me to do. So I will enjoy that. And I will, of course, enjoy watching the DVR replay of the entire game when I get home. That's what I'll be doing.
Wait, hold on. Are you going to be on social media? Or are you going to be on the Soch?
Is that what they call it now? The Soch?
You didn't get the
I
memo?
thought you and Curtis were the ones that keyed that one. But
if I hear that, well, the social. I mean, but if I hear the Soch, I think about Mike Scioscia, the Angels manager, no longer. You know, that's what I think about. But yeah, no, I mean, I will be busy tomorrow night, but I'll be following along, and the baseball game should be over. Second period of the hockey game, I think. Maybe by third period, I don't know. So we'll see. But I'll be pretty excited if we can get 2 W's tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive right into this Pacific Division. Now, Brodie cheated. He's already kind of done this before, so he's going to be like primed and ready.
Yeah, well, NBC sent me 20 pages of notes on this stuff, so unless you guys have it too, I feel like at a distinct advantage. But
yeah, he's for those of you who have ever listened to Digital Underground in the late 80s, early 90s, there's a track called Packet Man. Well, Brodie got the NHL packet. He is the Packet Man.
Wow, that's a reference, AJ.
That's what I'm saying. I'm reaching back.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it's the Humpty Dance, but I didn't know where you were going with that.
No,
wow.
No. We start with the Anaheim Ducks. Holy smokes. Man, there's a lot of problems in Anaheim. Coming in, Brian Gibbons, and you watch how many names I screw up here. Andre Suster, I want to say. Carter Roney, Luke Shin going out. Francois Beauchemin at 38 years old. Kevin Bieksa at 37 years old. Antoine Vermette at 36 years old. Do you get where I'm going with this? And JT Brown also out. Now, the big things here, Kessler and Sekera gone for probably a large portion of the year. Now Corey Perry's gone for 5 months. Patrick Eves is iffy. And Richie has not even signed. He's still unsigned.
Hold
and
out.
The season starts tomorrow. Yeah. Doing a great impression of like late 90s Mike Ratchie with that holdout. or early 2000s Nabby. Anyway. But we of course will start with the guest of honor. Brodie. That's a lot of injuries. I mean, can you see the entire Anaheim? Granted, good on the back end, solid 4, and Gibson is could fight for a Vezina, but I mean that's a lot of pressure to put on that back end.
I mean, they hung with it last year. I think that unfortunate theme carries over, and they're going to have to be behind the curve to start this season. Whereas last year, injuries played a part. They had to keep up. You're right. Straight out of the gate, they're going to deal with it. And I think I said this somewhere recently. When you look at Corey Perry as the loss, You look at his production the last couple of years, at least goal-wise, and that's not everything to me, but it's something. It's cut almost in half. So, I mean, it's one of those seasons where they're going to have to start this way. I look at a name you didn't even mention there in Ricard Raquel as maybe the most the biggest name they have that's under the radar the most, and has been the last couple seasons. I mean, he's the guy that has done the brunt of the damage while staying healthy. So to me, their main theme is injuries. Can they survive it again? How much can they survive it again from day one? And what is Ricard Raquel as their number one weapon? So that's the whole story of Anaheim right now for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And we hadn't even touched on the fact that Andre Kasha suffered a concussion at the end of the last preseason game versus LA. So who knows what's going on there? I mean, you talk about the roost. I mean, they're coming home to roost, it feels like. Eric, is Raquel and, like, I don't know, Sam Steele going to be like the saviors of this team?
They're going to have to be. Raquel was a freaking beast last regular season. As you know, the Sharks swept them out in the first round. And a lot of the offense was not there whatsoever. And I think maybe they should have third period in game 4. Throw in Andrew Cogliano, who's always been one of those dedicated, hard-nosed, up until that suspension, the Iron Man in the NHL.
He's almost like a clean playing pest. You know what I mean?
And that's the best one to have. You're not going to get suspended 41 games or X amount of games for Tom Wilson in the near future.
Oh, damn. I don't know. He said suspension and my eyes went kind of like this.
41 seemed like a very specific number. How'd you come up with that?
Yeah.
As you look at the film, you took a glancing blow to the head. This caused his head to fall. No. I will spare you my Brendan Shanahan impression. Back to you, AJ.
I know Rocket loves poking fun at the few hairs that Getzlaf has left. So we will just start with that, Rocket, and please proceed.
I think that the theme of this team for at least the first half is going to be dissonance. I think that because of all the major injuries that they have sustained as a squad and the injuries that they might sustain in the next couple of months, it's going to be a tough journey for them, I'd say, trying to find what works. But much like, a lot of great songs, you have to hit a lot of crappy notes before you find the perfect chord. And I don't think it's beyond Anaheim's reach to find that golden chord that will shoot them straight to the top again.
See, that's the thing that gets me, because you look at Anaheim, haven't they won like the Pac Div like the last 5 years in a row?
Except for last season. Last season was the first since 11-12 where they didn't take the division because Vegas did. To your point, though, yeah. I mean, they always find a way, and I wanted
to actually at the end.
They won like 10 out of their last. They were 10-1-1, I think, in their last dozen. And I think, to paint this picture before we go team by team, to me, it's the Sharks in Vegas are the expected teams. There's a next level of LA and Anaheim, which are probably going to be their teams. Below that, there's the could be, should be Alberta teams. And then on the last tier is Vancouver and the Desert Dogs. So, I mean, like those 8 teams, it's like 2-2-2-2. And you could bunch them in twos and describe the expectations. So,
no, that's absolutely it. But that's the thing with the Ducks is that these guys, they're constantly coming. There was a couple of years ago or something like that where LA started off with the division, then San Jose took number 1 for a little while, then it was back to LA, and then like the Ducks just bided their time and then like came in and won the Pacific the last week. Now, granted, San Jose and LA did themselves no favors, but Anaheim comes in and win it by like a point. And it just seems like that's the way it's been. I don't know how many times where they just bide their time, but they know when to turn it on. With the exception of last year's playoff.
But look at it. Look at it last year as well. San Jose needed a point to clinch home ice. They fell apart, so it banked on LA. They fell apart, and the Ducks get in to that. So they know a way. It's kind of like the Sharks of the late 2000s, where they would go on that hot streak in March to get in or win the division. It's something to be seen, but I don't know. I'm not sure about where they're going to go this year.
Well, that is an awful lot of injuries to contend with. That's a lot of pressure to put on Gibby. We shall see what happens, but we will move on now to the Arizona Coyotes, or as we say, the Desert Dogs. Waiting for Brodie to play the beer sounder. I'm kidding.
Dirty Dogs. You know what? I don't have the iPad hooked up, so I'm shy on sound effects tonight. But
that's okay. I'll go.
I'm also predictable, apparently.
The Dirty Dogs.
The Dirty Dogs. Wow.
Yeah, what he said.
Okay, so coming in, Alex Galchenyuk from Montreal traded for Max Domi. I'm still not a big fan of that deal. But Hinostroza, Grabner, and Jordan Osterley. I hope I'm pronouncing all of these.
Sounds pretty close.
We all can't be Randy Hahn and Dan Ruzanowski people. Going out. Yeah. Going out, Max Domi, of course, Luke Shin, Jordan Martinook, Zach Ronaldo. Arizona Coyotes, you are the what's the that phrase where it's like, a conundrum wrapped in a hyperbole, encased in a something or other.
Problematic.
Yeah, it's this team. You look at a group of like quote unquote. I mean, with the exception, of course, of OEL, but you take that out of the equation. Like this lineup is not sexy, but they've. I don't think they are, but they've considerably or consistently just. This is a blue collar team, is what I'm saying. With the exception, of course, of Ekman Larson. But the key here, Antti Ranta. We go back to the Ducks, where there's going to be a lot of pressure put on Ranta, and this is a guy who does not play long seasons. This is a guy who goes 50, 60 games. This is not a guy who is, the guy that you just rely on to sit back there. How many times have we seen like Aaron Dell, and it's like, Dell, you know what? You're going to be 8-9 games, maybe a spot start here or two. But Ranta, this is a guy that's like over 50 games, and he's kind of, wait, what? So, go ahead, Brodie. Lay it on us, man. I know there's a lot of people that are kind of like think that Arizona is going to be on the come up, and there's a lot of people that are crapping on the Pacific Division, saying it's a weak division. I don't know. I have Arizona like finishing 6th at best.
Yeah, they had 29 wins last year, 70 points. I don't see realistically how they dramatically depart from that. They might make a small improvement. I think the biggest thing is trying to lay a foundation, right? And Clayton Keller's another name to throw out there in terms of their young future. But I think in the OEL deal, I was just looking it up here. What did he sign for?
It was like 888 or something.
888, yeah, or
886.
No, it's what it is. 866.
Oh, okay. I knew there were double numbers in there somewhere.
Yeah. So they're trying to base their team around something, and that's probably the right thing to base it around. Two things: a young rookie with a lot of potential from last season, as well as one of the best D-men around. The problem is you can't just pick those two and say that's it. Look, I don't expect a dramatic improvement increase from them, but I think that they're at least doing some things the right way, whereas a lot of off seasons you could look at them and say, what did they do to help at all? So, baby steps for the Desert Dogs. That's my prediction. I think they're still, again, in that bottom tier with Vancouver, and really, they're below Vancouver. So,
that's
the way the standings were. Vancouver is at least going to have a lot of pressure on them as a franchise. The Sedin's gone, and the city's going to pressure them. You're down in the desert. I'm not sure that it exists that you need to be a contender like next year or 2 years down the road. I don't know that pressure exists. So from the public. So I see them getting better. I hope they get better. But it's not happening at a rapid pace.
I would agree with that. So Eric, I mean, don't the Sharks really just kind of have to take advantage of the fact that they've got this team in their division for the next couple of years before Seattle comes in and wins the cup in 2021?
Wow. They'll be gone, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but for me, they're out of the Pacific. Like they're in the they're moving divisions. They're probably in the Central if Seattle is in the Pacific. Sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. That was the point. It's like take advantage of these guys while you still have them in. We know Seattle's coming in, and they'll buy themselves all the way to the cup. No, we'll talk about Seattle later. But yeah, Arizona probably heading off to Houston or Kansas City or whatever. But Eric, I mean, Arizona. I know, friend, our buddy Hockey Jerk has been upselling this team for the last 3 years, and it's still just been kind of like,
I kind of see where Hockey Jerk is coming from, though. Once Galchenyuk returns from injury, you throw in Christian Dvorak. You mentioned Clayton Keller. You could throw in OEL. I think they can surprise some people, but yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be in the playoffs yet. But I think they might give a little fight here and there. I mean, Rant, I think, was like I think he got like 21 of those 29 wins for the Desert Dogs. Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'll drink a LaCroix to that.
Yeah, we're all drinking, right?
Yeah.
This looks good. Yes.
Sponsored by LaCroix.
Hey now. Oh, what are you rocking there? The lime?
Mango.
Oh, mango. Okay, I got passion fruit myself. Yeah,
but I like Rocket's Cut though. I think that one beats us.
What's Rocket got there?
Yeah, what do you got? This is Tennessee tap water, fellas.
Nice.
That sounds like the promo voice on the commercial too. I think.
Oh, thank you. I've been practicing.
I gotta crank the bass up on my thing like that over here. Guys, I have two important items to pass along. One of them you're not gonna like. Here's the first one.
He's having connection problems. Right?
No. I think I'm good. The one that you won't care about is the Desert Dogs. How much do you think Marian Hossa is going to help them in his 3-year deal that remains?
I'm going to say that maybe as much as Chris Pronger and Pavel Datsyuk.
Oh, yeah, they have a history of that, don't they? Yeah. The other thing is I just got hit up to do a radio interview at 7:45. I just want you guys to know that.
Okay, so now we move on to the Calgary Flames.
So I just want to throw that out. I just got the message here. So,
gotcha.
Do you mind telling us? Is it a local station or is this a Canadian station?
It broadcasts amplitude modulation on a frequency of 680 kilohertz.
Oh,
that's one. Is
that very specific? Like I know AM, what AM stands for, amplitude modulation.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with this, and you can jump back on if you need to. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got the link, and tell them all we say hi. So your take on the dogs, Rock?
Oh man, the dogs aren't bad shape, man. They're just bad. Okay, so sometimes you're riding the wave and sometimes the wave rides you. And right now Arizona is just being rolled by this wave, man. And every time they try to get their head popped up with some kind of great talent out there, it feels like the universe just pushes them straight back down again. So in the spirit of the universe, I feel like this team is sort of in the primordial phase where it really hasn't solidified into anything, but it's got a lot of really potent ingredients to be something special. So, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of heat, and a little bit of pressure, and hopefully no injuries, and maybe something special will come out of these guys. If not this year, then like within the next 2 to 3 years.
Kind of just jump on Rocket's point there. If Edmonton falls apart, Calgary doesn't show up, the Anaheim Ducks are hurting from injuries, who's to say they might sneak in and try to fight for a wild card?
There's a town in the desert that takes bets, and I will bet you on that one.
To quote Joe Thornton, no chance, bud. No chance, bud.
No chance.
That's what I mean. Maybe they need to change their nickname from Desert Dogs to Prairie Dogs. So maybe once in a while somebody will pop up and go, "Oh, we're in."
I think Curtis and I have a better chance of skating a couple NHL shifts this season than Arizona does of being in the playoffs. And this is on YouTube. It could come back to bite me, but I feel pretty, and I don't like predictions because of that. I'm pretty confident they're not there yet. Maybe in 2 years from now they're at that point, but I don't think they're there this fall.
Gotcha.
Okay, hold on. You know what? I thought Eric was having connection issues. Now it looks like I might be. Give me 1 second.
Wow.
I thought Brent Burns shaved his beard tonight. We're all pausing for that. I didn't know if there was breaking news.
Well, hey, if that happens, although apparently he said bleep no at practice today.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, at practice today, apparently somebody asked.
I don't think you quoted him correctly.
Well, I'm trying to keep it family friendly. You know,
AJ is AOLing.
Yeah, go figure.
I was having an issue. So anyway, yeah, Desert Dogs are over. We go on to Calgary. Hold on, but it did pop into my head really quickly. I'm just going to put it out there. When Brodie does his interview in 10 minutes, I'm not thinking they're asking you to talk about the Sharks.
A little bit of both.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's the way it was pitched to me. Sharks.
Okay. I think we're all a little bit surprised by that. That they'd want to talk about either one. But
you thought Sharks would not be included?
I'm not sure. Well, on the station,
they know what's up. It's a big day tomorrow. It's
absolutely.
It's both squads. Big day.
All right.
Huge day.
So, we go on to the Flames. So coming in is Lindholm and Hannafin, obviously from Carolina, from the trade with Dougie Hamilton and Adam Fox. You also got real deal James Neal coming in the house, Derek Ryan, and heading out again, Hamilton and Fox, along with Michael Furlan and Chris Versteeg. Oh, Calgary, you are the gift that keeps on giving some days. Again, I love this team. I don't know why they don't do more. I love Johnny Hockey, even though I know Rocket hates the name. I love Sean Monahan, even though he's had issues here and there. Like Lindholm, I think James Neal is a great addition. I love Matt Tkachuk. He's a little bit of a chip off the old block, gives that team just a little bit of, shall we say, outre, because we're in the Canada province. Putting TJ Brodie back with Giordano is going to be huge for this. It's if Hannafin and Hamonic can find some chemistry there. And, I mean, Mike Smith, hello, registered shark killer. I like this team. I think they could very well battle the SoCal teams for that third spot in the Pacific, Brodie.
Yeah, Smith had an injury last year, I recall, that kind of derailed him a little bit, to your point, with Gaudreau and Monahan, as young players to build around, not to mention some of the other names you threw in there. Like I wasn't, I was serious when I said that Edmonton and Calgary are in that tier of teams that could take that next step. Like we were talking about Arizona taking that next step. I don't see it. I do see it from Calgary. And real quick, this is something I didn't know, but I found super interesting regarding Monahan. He had 4 surgeries this summer: left wrist, left and right sports hernia surgeries, as well as a right groin surgery. So I'm just saying, like, maintenance is it's a great time to do it in the summer, but 4 surgeries, that seems like a lot. He's obviously a big player. I think, and the other thing is Calgary, I was just looking it up here. In mid-January, the Flames were second in the Pacific Division. They only flopped in their last, 30, 40 games. They're 12, 19, and 6 to finish it off. So, I mean, they're a very capable team of being in the mix. Top 3, top 4, top 5. But I think top 3, top 4. They're capable of being there. I think it's going to take health, and I think it's going to take good seasons from those players, including Mike Smith, in the blue paint for them. So they're capable. They are.
And aren't they starting things off with a brand new coach this year?
Bill Peters. Yep.
Yeah.
First year. So, I mean, there's renewed excitement, renewed energy. I was reading a quote here. Yeah, I think Peters, did he say it? Yeah, he was talking about how no Canadian team has won the cup now in 25 years. So he's kind of rallying his group around that, like do it for the country, but
no pressure.
I'm pretty sure the Leafs are already on that. No offense, Calgary. I'm pretty sure the Leafs, the Leafs are a little bit ahead of you in that, Canadian Cup.
Yeah, I think they're running around with that flag. I would have been nicer to see Jim Montgomery go to Calgary just so we'd see him more often. But anyway, Eric, your take on the Flames.
Calgary, they have a great top six. Hopefully, well, for Calgary's standpoint, that they're all healed and ready to go. But Mike Smith can be a shark killer one game, and next game he can, stink like the power play Sunday night against Vegas. But nonetheless, I think they make a run for it. But again, like Arizona, I'm not sure.
Rocket?
Matt Tkachuk.
Whoa.
Matt Tkachuk single-handedly makes this team fun to watch. Win or lose, as long as Matt Tkachuk is out there, I just enjoy watching these professional athletes lose their cool repeatedly because this kid is somehow found a way to get inside their heads. It's so joyous to watch. It almost makes me forget that I can't stand Mike Smith as a goalie. Almost. So again, like I said, this team can be a lot of fun to watch. It's for Sharks Flames games, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, but I do enjoy watching them otherwise. I agree with a lot of sentiment that's already been added in that. I don't know why they don't do more. Hopefully with a new captain a new coach steering the ship, as it were, they might be able to get there, or at least get closer in the playoff run than they have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, give it up to Dome, but I'm telling you, nobody. I love the idea of family members, and whether it's the Tkachuks, the Domies, or whatever. But you're going to be, because let's be honest, Keith Tkachuk pissed off a lot of people, but he was a great player. Ty Domi pissed off everybody, and I can't wait to see Max Domi. Max Domi will never hit Ty Domi levels until a fan tries to jump in the penalty box with him. That's just where we're at.
Oh, that was that guy?
Yeah,
that was Ty Domi, and it was spectacular. So we'll move on to the Edmonton Oilers. Lots of things going on here. Coming in, Tobias Ryder, Kyle Brodziak going out. Holy cannoli, a lot of people going out. Mike Camilleri, Brandon Davidson, Eric Greba, and Patrick Maroon traded at the deadline.
Drew Remenda, apparently.
Ooh, too soon.
I'm saying, you know what? I'm saying that. I'm bringing that up in defense of, I don't know what they're thinking. I really don't.
It was a response to the fans.
I don't care
what Drew said. Well, it's funny. Let's touch the third rail for a minute.
I don't care. This is what he does. This is what he does, and I think he's great at it. And whatever, you know what? Go ahead, keep making decisions like that. See where you finish.
Yeah, I'll be with that. And this is the point in the video on the replay where the card that comes up that says, go watch our interview with Drew Remenda. But he said that basically they listened to the fans, and Drew was not, hitting the funny bone for everybody, or they weren't digging him. And so ownership listened to the fans and said, okay, we're going to make this change. We'll bring in Louis DeBrusque, and we'll put Drew off to basically he's going to be our version of Curtis Brown. Okay, that's fine.
Except bald. Look, here's one thing. Here's one thing I don't like about that. And you say, oh, we listen to the fans. Like, did you listen to the 5 people out of 500,000 on social media that just kept going at it and at it and at it? Like, in this day and age, you don't know how people are filtering what they're looking at. And so if they see 10 comments, oh, they could say it about me. They could say it about anybody that's there. But a lot of times it's from the same 4 people. And they don't like you. And that's fine. Like, you're not everybody's cup of tea. That's fine. But I just hope that if they really made that decision based on public opinion, that they actually went out and researched it and didn't look at social one day after something he said that struck 4 people the wrong way, and they made 400 tweets about it. That's all. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I'm just saying I've seen that type of thing happen before.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody needs to be fired over one bad Yelp review. I totally agree with you.
Imagine that. Like if you pick your favorite restaurant and you looked at it on Yelp and 3 people wrote 300 reviews and they were all at the top because they were just the most flamboyant, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you know better. Like I go here all the time. I enjoy it. So yeah, it's the Yelp review syndrome, no doubt.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing that is the really funny, I don't know, juxtaposition of the whole thing is they're saying, we listen to the fans. Drew was not their cup of tea, so we're going to make this change. But if you rewind the clock 3 years, it's funny that all the fans loved Drew. There just seemed to be 1 or 2 people that weren't digging him. So kind of 12 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's just a very interesting inversion.
Yep.
Probably should just leave that there.
Well.
So anyway, we got the Edmonton Oilers. Here's another one. You're talking about former Sharks. Todd McClellan, definitely on the hot seat. Peter Chiarelli, probably real close to him. We're talking about a team who was just scrubbing the basement in special teams last season. Might have been one of the reasons why Trent Yanni moved on to take up his own bench in the minors. But you've got Connor freaking McDavid. I mean, best player in the league. You have to bounce back from this, Brodie. And Cam Talbot, again, that's another guy who I think is due for a bounce back season.
14.8%. That's what the Oilers were on the power play last year. And to your point, having Connor McDavid, who led the league in scoring for the last 2 straight years, how do you have that and not at least a respectable power play? I don't understand that. I also understand that I think they're a little top heavy. I think they've always been top heavy. I wonder what Edmonton would look like with half of San Jose's blue line. No, I mean, they have a knack for drafting slick, skilled, silky forwards, and goaltending is hit or miss. Some years it's there, some years it's not. I think with Talbot, it probably could be there. But if you add a little back end presence, I think that group takes on a whole new skill. I think they take on a whole new set of expectations, and they haven't done that for years. They've been the same team like for years. And you know what? They actually, when you look at their regular seasons, their last 2 regular seasons, the year they knocked out San Jose in the playoffs two seasons ago. Mm-hmm. Since then, their points last year went down 25 from 2 years ago to last year in the regular season. So they got significantly worse last year.
See, and this is the team that has some time. I mean, obviously, McDavid, Draisaitl is huge. It's just, I mean, but Eric, how do you think that this rolls when they literally have $9,000 worth of cap space right now? $9,000.
You better get your crap together if you got $9,000 and a heap of talent. I mean, you talk about Draisaitl, you talk about the Nuge, and supporting players like, I don't know, some guy named Lucic that's supposed to contribute in multiple ways. It's one of those things that, they should be better than what they were. And if they're not, well, Todd, it was nice knowing you. Good luck. And
I feel, for Todd, I mean, he went up there with so many high hopes, high expectations. I can't speak to exactly what it's like up there for him or the situation, but I've just from a spectator standpoint of the situation there, I feel, I feel bad because they had so much going for them, and I think there also might be the case up there of too many chefs in the kitchen. I don't know, but I feel bad that it didn't really work. I really wanted it to work out for him in a different place, even though it is the same division as the Sharks. I still pull for him individually, just not head to head. But it's unfortunate that you guys are right that he's in this situation again where it's like turn this thing around or they'll probably go somewhere else.
Yeah. Do you need to drop off right now and then join us back?
Just wait until they call. Who knows?
Okay.
Speak of the devil.
Man, I'm good.
I'm gonna put it on
They're
mute
watching.
here. I'll be here.
Okay, so Brodie will be back with us momentarily. So, Rock, your take on the oil.
After listening to everybody speak about all the different components of this team, yeah, they would do well with a little bit more on the defensive end. And if they do have such amazing pieces, I mean, Connor McDavid, come on. Connor freaking McDavid. And you do this. So I think it is definitely a mismanagement of assets, so to speak. And I put that squarely on Todd's system. For whatever reason that this system has not been able to be implemented at its fullest. Perhaps, like they said, there's too many chefs in the kitchen. Maybe somebody is trying to force somebody into a role that they aren't naturally suited for, but the system calls them to do that. And so they're very limited in what they can do, and it cuts them off from their natural talents and abilities because Todd McClellan's system is not very creative and they're stifling them. So I think that by mid-season, they will have started to not believe in the system as a group. And I think that by late March, Todd McClellan will have completely lost the room.
Ooh. See, now, but that's a great point, though, God, I'm trying to think.
Well, I just know this has been a problem with guys who have skated under his systems before. I remember reading interviews and stuff about it. So it's like this is a thing that happens if you don't, if you don't know how to deal with somebody in the right role, or just keep moving people around until they're in the right role, or just accept people's strengths and go with it. You get mush.
No, I agree with you. My point was, and I thought it was a great point that you brought up, is did we see a coach get the can mid-season last year? I don't think we did. I can't think of one.
No.
And maybe McClellan. Yeah, I think maybe T-Mac might be, right up in that spot. That might be one of the, if Edmonton, now you also take into account, Edmonton has a horrible start to their schedule. They starting in Europe. So it could be good. It could be bad. It could be one of those things where, hey, we get the team over there early and it's the whole team bonding thing. Maybe we do a little curling like Ron Wilson believed in back in the day. I mean, Honto. Maybe they do some sort of team bonding exercise. Maybe the going to Europe thing is a good deal for Edmonton. However, maybe it's horrible. Maybe Edmonton gets off to another horrendous start. If that's the case, after October, if they're sitting at, I don't know what, 3-7, 3-8, 4-12, or whatever it is, does Edmonton make a move early and say, okay, you know what, T-Mac, you were at the end of your deal anyway, so we already feel like we need to move forward? Because, again, they already made coaching staff changes after last season, over this last summer. We know Trent Yoney's gone. So I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch what happens in Edmonton, because, man, just like Brodie was saying earlier, you had LA and the Sharks, but then you've got LA and the Sharks, Vegas and the Sharks, but then you've got LA, Anaheim, Edmonton, Calgary, all kind of just right in there. But anywho, we can move on, yes, to LA, since I brought it up. Those
great segue.
Yeah, those people. And it's, I'm saying that because I want to use a far worse word. So coming in, Ilya Kovalchuk, who hasn't played NHL hockey in 5 years. So, you're back, and so we have to welcome you.
Oh, good for you.
You're back, buddy. You're back. Also coming in, and Rocket's going to love this. The goalie that we live by and die by. That's right.
They got him back?
Yeah.
They got him back, but they've already sent him down.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I still have faith. Peter Brodie needs to be in the NHL. He does. He's important.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but Brodie got traded from Tampa, but he did get sent down. Tobias Ryder comes in. Andy Andorov, no way I'm pronouncing these. That was part of the Brodie deal, and Christian Folin is out. So, LA to me is another one where I got to say, Rocket, that I think it's again one of those things. LA scares me if they get it together early on because people are going to be healthy. You got Jeff Carter healthy now, Dustin Brown healthy, Kopitar, Kovalchuk. I mean, that's a nice top six, especially when you throw Tanner Pearson and Toffoli in there. If they can stay healthy, that's a scary top six. I don't know that I'm that scared of their second six. And once you're outside of Drew Doughty, I don't know that their defense scares me that much. But Quick can make up for it.
The phrase that I have for Los Angeles is old and slow. They actually do have the oldest roster in the NHL this year. Drew Doughty last season led the NHL with time on ice.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, at some point, he's just going to skate onto the ice and his legs are going to fall off. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. He's going to roll until he can't anymore. And I commend him for that. But at the same time, it's painful to watch. It's like your favorite yellow lab that always wants to chase you around. And then when he gets to be about 13, his back legs start to give out. And you know he's happy, but it just is real painful to watch. That's Drew Doughty. Okay, here's the deal about Kovalchuk. So he hasn't played in the NHL for a while. That's sort of an issue. And he needs to be productive for this squad if they want to get anywhere this year. He needs to have at least 30 goals and 30 assists. If he doesn't hit that mark, he's really not doing much for the team. Kopitar needs to have an amazing year again. He had, I think, like a season-setting year last year, didn't he? Record high, something like that.
He had an awesome season last year, but it was also that whole idea of working the contract.
Right. Oh, it was like, okay. So yeah, that might not happen again. Dustin Brown's out with a fractured thumb. And the thing I like about about Jonathan Quick is the same thing that Los Angeles Kings fans can't stand about Jonathan Quick is that some nights he psychs himself out and he just doesn't get set and he doesn't have a good game. So he's but when he's in, he's really, really in. But when he can't get set, and it just frustrates the holy heck out of the fans. So,
well, that's what happens when you're trying to go and get other players' autographs in the middle of the game. You freak it.
No.
and Dustin Brown breaking his thumb. What did he grab the water bottle incorrectly again?
No.
He stuck it in a potato.
Right. And Eric, again, I go back to the defense on this. Of course, Drew Doughty. He's going to play 27. He's going to play half a game every night. Jake Muzzin. I like Muzzin. I like Alec Martinez to a degree. Kind of, I don't know, the same way I used to. Boy, okay, I'm not going to throw any Sharks under the bus, but there's a couple players where it's like, Martinez. If he's played in limited doses, I think he's okay. To me, the X factor in this is Dion Phaneuf. This is not the Dion Phaneuf of old, people. This guy, to me, Eric, he's a liability. I'm going to be shocked if he plays the whole season, honestly.
He is a liability, as much as the defense of the Los Angeles Kings are, with the exception of Drew Doughty. And I'm with you. I like Muzzin. Stanley Cup goal-scoring winner Alec Martinez can do some things as well. But again, like you guys have mentioned, the speed. Vegas exposed them big time in their series against them last year. I think it was a huge thing. And with that being said, getting back to what Rocket was saying about Jonathan Quick, the guy single-handedly saved them from getting it being an embarrassment for them in that series last year. So if Quick can, I don't know, be like Urbe one year and play 78 games, and then you have Drew Doughty play 58 minutes a game, they'll be all right. But wait, it was 58,
2
right?
minutes in the penalty box, right?
Right,
exactly.
And that's the where he goes on a cursed rant per se. But there are ups and downs, but you have Kopitar, you have Carter. Kovalchuk will give you some more help. But again, like I hate to put them in the same category as Calgary, Edmonton, and Arizona. They're in the middle of that pack where, you have an injury or you go on a bad run. They could be on the outside looking in.
They could be. I still take the Kings over Arizona. I still think the Kings will finish higher. Jonathan Quick is just a bit more of a world beater than Mike Smith. And, it's that thing. Calgary, I think, top 12, better balanced, where I think LA is a little top heavy, but they definitely, that top heaviness, there's a lot of weight there. And if Kopitar has, a killer season and finds great chemistry with Kovalchuk, that could be a scary team. But like you said, conversely, it could not work at all. And if the injury bug gets him again, who knows? And that's the whole thing. You see all the predictions about, well, this should happen, and then of course there's like a bad injury, and then all bets are off. So let's move on to the Vancouver Canucks. For those of you wondering, yes, Brodie Brazil is off air right now talking to somebody else about the Sharks and the Oakland Athletics, because the Oakland Athletics kind of playing a little of an important game tomorrow. So people want to talk to them. So Vancouver Canucks coming in, Antoine Roussel, Jay Beagle, and let me just throw this out because this was a beautiful quote. I don't know if I got it from TSN, but this was the quote about Jay Beagle coming to the Vancouver Canucks. Jay Beagle, anytime you can give 4 years, $12 million and a modified no-trade clause to a negative value 32-year-old fourth-line center who managed a shot rate percentage 3% worse than the next worst player on his own team, you have to pull the trigger on that. Welcome to Vancouver, Jay Beagle. I thought that was one of the best comments ever. So also coming in, Tim Schaller. Going out, of course, Jussi Jokinen, Nick Dowd, and two girls, one no cup. I'm sorry, the Sedins. They're out. This is the one, Rocket. This is they just hang up the banner now that says lose for Hughes, because we need another pair of brothers on this team.
No, we don't. You know why? Because it's time for my boy Bo Scorvat.
Oh, here we go.
It's time. It's time for my boy.
You think Horvat and Besser are gonna just, know? Okay.
They're gonna come in like the Wonder Twins. They're gonna put their rings together. They're gonna turn into, I don't know, like a giant hockey stick and like a something else, like a giant helmet, and they're just gonna next thing you know, puck in the back of the net, popping water bottles all night long. That's what it's gonna be. I have full faith that Bo Horvat is going to be an exciting thing to watch, and that Vancouver is right to anchor their rebuild around him. Now, are they ready for this rebuild, or is it going to be ready by, just in time for Bo Horvat to be washed up? I don't know how much more upside this kid has. A lot, I hope. But yeah, I think lose for Hughes is a great slogan. But I don't think they need more brothers. That's the only thing. They just need talent.
Well, Eric, I mean, you got Horvat and Besser on the top line. Sven Berchi, who's a guy that they've just been behind, it seems like year after year. I keep hearing about this guy, and he's just never getting over the hump. But you also have Louis Eriksson. But the big thing is Pettersson. This is a kid that everybody is talking right now. Not that he's going to, get the Calder or anything like that. A lot of people talking about this guy. You still have, hold on, Vernon. You still got Vernon. So they have some pieces. The thing that ruins it for me is the defense. Edler, no. Del Zotto, you were much better when you were with New York. And then
Tanev is probably like one of their best defense right now.
Yeah, and that I think speaks more in the wrong way. Oh, are we getting Brodie back?
Heyo.
Hey now.
Here's the real deal.
Who did he miss? He only missed the Kings, right?
Kings and I think a little bit of the Oil.
Really?
No, he got
in
in on
Vancouver right now, huh?
You got in on the Oil, didn't you?
No, yeah, I was in on Edmonton. Yeah, remember we had the whole Drew discussion.
Yeah. So he only missed the Kings. We're finishing up on Vancouver right now.
I'm really limited on time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Should we just go straight to the
Sharks?
Can I give you the Sharks? I would love to do that.
Let's just go straight to the Sharks.
I apologize. My schedule gets away from me sometimes. Look, I was just telling the guys on the radio that I think people don't even realize yet what they have with this team, with Kane back for a full season and Karlsson. Like they opened up the Christmas present, like they took the wrapping paper off, but they haven't unboxed the gift yet. And I know we all know what Evander Kane is capable of. We had a taste of it last year, and I know we all know who Erik Karlsson is, even though he's out east, and we only got to see him as much as we wanted to tune in early to games and all that stuff. But I really feel like when you get to see those two guys on a regular basis, in a month's time, we're all going to go, holy smokes! I can't believe this is the Sharks in a very good way.
The last time a team had two Norris Trophy guys on their blue line worked out pretty well.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I'm surprised it's happened. Is this 8 times or 9 times? I think it's either 8 or 9 times that that two Norris Trophy winners are on the same roster.
What was the last one? Was it Anaheim with Pronger and Niedermeyer?
I think so. But the point is, like, I'm surprised it's even happened that many times. Well, and especially in this day and age, with that type of player, that caliber of D-man being so hard to get, so expensive, and the cap, obviously, how do you fit multiples of those guys? How do you get multiples of those guys? So I just think from a team perspective, it's crazy. This group felt so confident about what they were returning. I do have some questions, third and fourth line center, to see who actually works out. Like, and I think it's unfair to scout or to say what a rookie is going to be like in that role or in a couple roles. I think we really need to give it a month. But I think that's the luxury the Sharks have. They can try young players out, see how it works. If it doesn't, they're not deep enough up front, then maybe you go hunting around for some small additions.
And you have space.
Yeah, no, I mean they have enough, right? They have enough to do it. And I just think, like, even look at Eric Fehr last year, pulled out of nowhere. And I'm not saying that Doug Wilson is capable of that every midseason, but I think there are veteran. If the young guys don't work out up front in the center roles, I think you can probably figure there are some other options. That's probably the best way to put it. You're not like this has to work and there's nothing else. I think there are a couple other options.
Well, do we already give the Norris to Hedman now just because Karlsson and Burns will cancel each other out?
Well, they're both out west. So, I mean, nobody's staying up till 1 a.m. to watch the end of a Sharks game.
Congratulations, Hedman.
East of the Mississippi. So, no, and you know what? I couldn't care less about those awards. I mean, it's nice. It's nice when your guy gets it, but I think that, if it's nice to campaign. I wanted to campaign for Vlasic for that before, and he had a good season. But it's almost like to your point, it's a popularity contest anyway. So,
well, popularity contest. But the thing, Vlasic, he's never going to win it. He's good enough to represent his country twice in the Olympics, but he's never going to win it because he doesn't put up the numbers. And what a lot of people don't factor in is don't look at his goals and assists and points and all that. Look at the people he's facing and what their points and assists were when he was facing them.
Yeah, the other thing I want to point out too is I actually was one to think at first that you could have Burns, Vlasic, and Karlsson out there on different pairs and just keep rolling them out at the opponent. But then I started to realize you do the math, and like if you want Karlsson out there for 27 minutes, like you can't have 3 pairs out there for 27 minutes. Like it's too much. That's a whole extra period worth of hockey plus. So you got to put your heavy minute guys together in 44 and 65. And then, I think Burns and Joakim Ryan are probably in terms of time, like right there, maybe a little bit less. And then, I mean, if your third pair, if you're going to call Braun and Dylan your third pair,
not too shabby.
That's, I mean, that is a luxury. And I hope those guys feel it as only respect to say it that way. That's a luxury if that's your two in the third pair. So
yeah. So do you got a jet now?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, but I thank you guys for having me, and this will not be the last time. You can check in with me from the shed that this is. From
the shed? No, man. What, dude? What? I think we're gonna have to do something live tomorrow when you're partying in the treehouse.
Well, if they win, I will be celebrating violently.
Oh my!
I was trying to figure out the right word. I'm going hard tomorrow when they win, when the A's win, and you know what? Because it's going to lead me right into watching the Sharks game. So let's hope that the A's win. I can do a post-game show from the Coliseum. It goes probably 45 minutes, and then I'm done with that. And on the big screens, they change the channel to hockey, and then I could just stay right there. So,
watch out! Somebody's going to spike his LaCroix.
Thank you guys again for having me. Sorry I had to cut it short, but I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it. See you, fellas.
Take it easy. So he stole our thunder with the Sharks. No, I'm kidding. Anything left on Vancouver before we move on to Vegas?
Pertinent.
Yeah.
Pertinent.
Is Markstrom gonna be the goalie that gets them there? Probably not.
No.
They
I
need
go
more than a goalie to get them there.
Yeah, I think you talk to most prognosticators, and predictions are a fool's errand because anything can go wrong at any time. So, with that said, yeah, Vancouver's going to be 8th. That's all I'm saying. I just think they're 5 years away from being 2 years away, is what I'm saying. So we'll move on to the Vegas Golden Knights, of course, the team that scares the crap out of every San Jose Sharks fan. That's right. A team that didn't exist a year and a half ago is now scaring the crap out of everybody. Coming in for the Knights, Max Pacioretty, Paul Stastny, Daniel Carr, Curtis McKenzie. Going out, real deal James Neal, David Perron, back to St. Louis for a third time. Lucas Pizza. And then a couple fun ones. Nate Schmidt out for the first 20 for a PED suspension. And Nick Suzuki, their 13th overall pick, left. So, makes you wonder about that. I'm going to be interested to watch Suzuki's time as a NHL player. But this is another team that, God, there's a lot of talent up front. Marchessault, Carlson, Riley Smith, and then Tuck, Stastny, Patches, and then Holla with Eakin and Carpenter, Carpy Deuces. Unfortunately, they still have Ryan Reeves on this team. Not really sure why, because if you look at Belmar's stats, they actually go down when Reeves is on the ice with him. But this is a run-and-gun team, let's be honest. Their defense, yeah, okay, Shea Theodore, he's been around the block, but you look at these names. Braden McNabb, not really scaring anybody. England, Holden, Colin Miller, not so much. This is a run-and-gun team. It's like the Atlanta Falcons back in the day. They're just going to try to outscore you. And how many games did the Golden Knights play in those last 20-25 where they scored the first goal in every game, Rocket? They're a run-and-gun team.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's tough to, in retrospect, that's 100% what they were. But, God, I just hate them so much. They're so consistent in their level of physical ability and talent and speed. They are so fast. But they're not like Dallas, where they field five forwards for every shift. They do actually have some heavy hitters on that defense, and that's why they keep Ryan Reeves around, because he's handy for the regular season, and then he's easy to just tuck aside for playoffs. That's why, because they need that balance, and he's fast. He's not a passive defenseman. You know what I mean? He's fast. He's aggressive. He can move the puck. He can strip the puck from you. He can punch you in the face. He can do it all as a defenseman, and he does. And he's a bum. But that's aside from the point, isn't it? This is Vegas we're talking about. Come on. Can they do it again?
That's the question. That is the question. Can they do it again? Can Mark Fleury be as solid? Now, yeah, I think he's only 32, 33. I mean, he's still relatively young, especially in goaltender years, especially if you talk to somebody like Brodie or Patrick Waugh. But I think I don't know that Flower is going to be able to pull that off again. Everybody, I think, is kind of said, okay, we understand what they're trying to do. I mean, Eric, they could go like full on Dallas Stars back in the day and just grind the hell out of them slow. Now, granted, you can't clutch and grab like he used to be able to back then, but you can slow these guys down, try to figure out a way to slow that game down just a scotch and, you know, work hard to get Malcolm Subban into this game or something. But they're run and gun, and maybe that's the thing. That's the trick is, you know what? We figured out how to beat Vegas. It's score first.
Score first.
Score often.
Score often.
Score hard.
Where's Pavelski? So yeah, what she said.
They haven't filmed that commercial yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. Close.
Close enough.
Close paths.
Way to keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, hopefully they don't keep whatever they're doing. Fleury's going to be a beast. Malcolm Subban, you know, is a credible backup. They have a decent, I won't say decent, they have a strong defense. They have scorers who can score. My question is, can Wild Bill Karlsson, with the crazy shooting percentage he had last year, can he replicate that? And if he can, Vegas is so deep in trouble when they have to re-sign him at the end of the year.
I don't think it's going to happen. He had a ridiculous shooting percentage, but you talk about that defense. I'm not that impressed with their defense. I think that you look at the games that they won, they always just got that extra goal. Look at the series against LA. Did they sweep them? Yes. Did they win every one of those games by only one goal? Yes. They're a run and gun team. If you can just slow them down. That's their key, is speed. If you can slow down the Knights, I think you're going to have a good shot. And now that you've had an entire off season to, roll back the tape and take a look, I think, people are going to find some holes in that game, and they're going to exploit them this season. So I still feel like on paper, the Sharks should win the Pacific. Vegas potentially second, but I don't know. I don't think people are going to be taking them. I think that, let's be honest, Rocket knows better than anybody. There was probably a couple teams that, rolled into Vegas to play them in the evening and was like, so boys, if anybody has our room key, that's great, but the champagne room is over there. And that's how they spent Vegas.
It's one of those things, and hopefully they aren't spending their time with I love Vegas. Yeah, bud. They got to beat them. It's almost in the sense of Herb Brooks's speech when he was talking to his USA players, is that he wants to play their game and shove it right back at them, because I thought they had a little bit of an issue against Winnipeg. I thought the Caps did the same thing against them in the Cup final, and I think that really shook them off the ground. And let's be honest, if you can get them to have a struggling losing streak here and there, that's something they didn't deal with all season long. Yeah. There's that invincibility factor, and
didn't the Sharks give them their longest series? Yeah,
it was 6 games. Yeah. They swept LA in 4, San Jose in 6, 5 and 5. I mean, Caps 1 and 5, but I mean, that's
all I'm saying, man.
Yep.
Got to get to them early, get to them often. There you go. Let's move on to your favorite team and mine, the Sharks. I know Brodie gave his 2 cents earlier, but we have stuff to say too, man.
Well, first, do we need to make a moment of silence for Joe Thornton's beard? I mean, the shock.
Keep going.
The thought that we haven't made a I will remember video about Joe Thornton's beard is probably shocking.
Oh my God, I need to have that as a sounder. so not the same, but I have to get the I will remember you thing going. Okay, so the Sharks. We all know what happened over the offseason. Only, put 2 Norse. Like, oh my God, what is PDB going to do? Is he going to have Norse? Is he going to have Carlson out there? Is he going to have Burns out there? Is he going to have Vlasic out there? What is he going to do? Every coach wants this problem, is what we're saying. So the focus is the second 6, as far as I'm concerned. I think Thornton is not going to be a problem. He already went through this rehab once. He knows how to do it, and this time he had a lot longer to take care of it. He's obviously more aerodynamic as of last night because he shaved. So, use that for what it is. But you have Thornton out there with Pavelski. Some people saying Meyer, some people saying Kane. I'm a Kane guy, but we know that PDB loves his pairs. Thornton and Pavelski are going to be on the line. Hurdle and Couture are going to be on the line. Suomela and Donskoi are going to be on the line. And as we found out earlier today, Gambrell has been sent down.
Very good call, scar by number 14, Dylan Gambrell.
Yeah. So we know that Charche is being given a shot. If he can find some chemistry with Sorensen, because that's the guy who I think is going to get a long look. You can kind of interchange Goodrow and Carlson. When I say that, the milkman, you can interchange those guys. If the good pair down there, if Charche and Sorensen find some chemistry, this could be a solid, I really like this team top to bottom. Best team on paper that we've ever seen, Rocket. Ever. And yes, Rocket. And Rocket has another one of those times where the mic has been dropped. No. So she had her normal, her annual. I shouldn't say annual, nightly, showly, whatever it seems like every show there's at some point the reason why we do these shows, people, is it really comes down to let's see how long Rocket's mic will last.
No, it's usually how long my AOL lasts.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Okay, so she's gonna fix that up.
She's gonna reconnect, and I saw this in the chat. We needed a Kayla, so we're gonna get a little Kayla smooch there in the camera.
Oh,
Kayla. Okay, that was only by request from Laurel,
of course.
But I mean,
for the Sharks, let's be real here. And like when I talked to Randy Hahn late last week, make sure you check that on our SoundCloud and YouTube.
Little card.
TealTownUSA.com.
Does it work?
There you go.
She's back.
All right.
Yes.
Okay,
Back
so
to you,
I'm going to go fast here because I don't know how much time I have. Look, I'm going to go a completely different direction than everybody else does. I'm going to focus in on, I was going to talk about Sorensen, Suomela, and Chartier, but I think everybody else is going to cover them. I'm going to talk about Brent Burns. The fact that this team is carrying 8 defensemen going into the beginning of the season is pretty telling for me. I think that because Paul Martin is not on this roster anymore, it exposes Brent Burns. If you guys remember, before we got Paul Martin, he was having trouble with every single person he was paired with. Couldn't find a dance partner for him with a damn. Like, it was super spotty. It would be great one game, and the next game it would be garbage, and then it would be toasted garbage on crap toast. Like, it was just bad. I think that they keep 8 defensemen because they need to find a combination that's going to work for him, and they need to make sure that they have enough assets in place for that to happen. Another thing I think that's going to kind of rattle Brent Burns a little bit more is that he's no longer like the number one 100% iconic Chewbacca Wookiee on this crew. You got to remember, we have a dirty hippie pirate now. And also,
wow. Hashtag dirty hippie pirate, people.
Hey, he's our dirty hippie pirate, and I'm all for it. I'm on this train, man. But like I think that Carlson's ability to blend with this team and the other players in it, along with Brent Burns' inability to settle down with a dance partner now that number 7 is gone, is going to be the most interesting story of the year. Also, is Goodrow really that good, or did we have to wait for all the good players to leave for him to take a spot? Is he any better? Or is he just the next guy in the system? That's another question I have. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about this team. I love them. Go Sharks.
Damn. I'm not going to lie. I like that. Although a couple of the points that you made, I love the point about the Sharks carrying 8D because they're trying to solve the riddle that is a Martinless Brent Burns. But take into account who is the choice that you have up there. Are you going to pair him Burns and Vlasic? No. Burns and Dylan? Maybe. But what about Simic? Simic had a pretty damn good camp. And if Burns and Ryan don't get off to a hot start, it wouldn't surprise me if they try Simic up there. But that's just me, you know. I'm a keg half full kind of guy. So, Eric, I mean, what do you think is the biggest problem? Because the thing that I think is so funny about this is there's a lot of people on Twitter today when we saw that Bebo was going down, Gambro was going down. I forget the third one who went down. Rodil. Who I also thought had a pretty solid camp. Mm-hmm. But there was a few people that were kind of, oh, okay, so Gambrell's down and Chartier made the squad and whatnot. And some people were talking about this like in a way that was somewhat surprising. And I'm going, really? Like, I remember talking about this on Twitter a week and a half ago with our buddy Ian Reed going, you know, if I'm Gambrell right now, I'm sweating. Yeah. Because Suomelo and Chartier are having a ridiculously great camp and I'm not.
Yeah, out of the two, between Chartier and Gambrell, it's Chartier easily that won that position to be in the press box essentially for now.
In fact, get Chemlevsky back here.
And so it's one of those things. And I mean, Gambrell, looks promising. Get him some playing time with the Barracuda. By the way, October 5th, opening night for Barracuda. Tickets still on sale.
Versus the Ontario Reign.
That's right, where you could see Peter Brodie.
By the sword or Brodie by the sword.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, now.
But the concern, of course, is always going to be the third and fourth lines now. Now that Tierney's gone.
Do you mean the second six?
That's why I said the third and fourth lines. Yes, the second six. If you got to we got to relearn the lingo there, folks, from Randy and Hetty, who Randy gave the credit to Hetty for that. So that makes sense. But it's going to be an interesting one to see. See how it works. I thought Suomela with Donskoy looked fantastic. Is Barclay Goodrow the fourth line center? We'll see. Chartier. I think it might be Chartier, but we'll see about that.
Chartier. So yeah. So let me jump in real quick. I see we got like mid-30s watching. This is your first time here. Welcome. Bienvenue.
Bienvenidos, mis amigos.
All of those things. Aloha. Do us a favor, please. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. We would really appreciate it. You can hit the notification bell. Let you know every time we do something like this and go live. But just to let you know, we do this live after every Sharks game. So come and join us. Have a good time. We also go live randomly for other things, like if, I don't know, the Sharks go out and get like, you know, a 2-time Norris Trophy winner that nobody expected was going to happen. You know, something like that. By all means.
I unboxed some new Teal sneakers.
See, that too. You know. So do us a favor, please smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, follow us on Twitter at TealTownUSA, and all the information, all our social channels, tealtownusa.com. Just wanted to throw that out there really quickly. So with that, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. I know Ian and the gang, our sister podcast, have already kind of started, so we don't want to infringe on them too much. So let's just say what's your top 8, Eric? What, like,
Top
you know?
8?
Yeah, I mean, like, give me, like, where are we talking? Is it, San Jose 1, Vegas 2, like, just give me your top 3 if you're not comfortable with the rest.
I got in the Pacific, Vegas, San Jose,
So Vegas is
Edmonton.
above San Jose?
I say they get above San Jose.
Ooh, okay.
And I
Or
think
give me the top 4.
those,
Like, who's going to the playoffs for you?
For me, it's Vegas, San Jose, Edmonton, LA.
All right.
And I think LA gets the wild card. In the Central, it's Nashville, Winnipeg, St. Louis, and can I draw a blank on? I think Dallas.
The usual suspects.
You just hit the point exactly for me. Is I think the Pacific could have 2 wild cards this year.
Yep.
Because Nashville and Winnipeg are so owning that division. Although I do think St. Louis has improved because, when you bring back Perron for a 3rd time, things can only get better.
Just ask Jeff Norton.
Right? So that's kind of where I'm at, where I think it's going to be Winnipeg, Nash, St. Louis. But I think that's going to be it. And a lot of people talking smack about the Pacific, saying it's the weakest division. I don't know that it's going to be. I think the Alberta teams and the SoCal teams are just going to be battling it out, trying to get to that 3rd spot below San Jose and Vegas. But Rocket, who do you got going to the playoffs in the Pacific?
All right, let's be fun here. Vegas, San Jose, Anaheim, and Calgary.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? You can't. Anaheim has just pulled so many rabbits out of their hat, and I love the Calgary pick. I think I'm really close to that. See, I kind of feel like it's going to be San Jose, Vegas, Calgary, LA. That's right where I'm right there with Rock. I feel, unfortunately, that Todd McClellan might not make it through the end of the year. Unfortunately, like I don't know if Cam Talbot's just going to get worked, but I don't know. I got a bad vibe. Whoever's taking over for Trent Yanni, like, God love you. I mean, to fix up the special teams that are happening, there's a lot of bad things. But anyway, you had something, Eric?
I was going to say, if Calgary falters, Edmonton falters, if LA struggles and Anaheim stinks up, that's
stop
where
with Arizona. Stop.
You could potentially see
in Arizona.
Did somebody say Vancouver?
Oh God.
No, but I would say that's maybe where the Desert Dogs go.
No, not buying it.
Not this year.
Nope.
They're
Still
like
not.
IKEA furniture that's missing the instructions, man. You just got a bunch of pieces, but no directions. Like, you got to get there.
Wow. Oh my God. That might be what
that's the intro.
That. Yeah. Somebody please tweet that right now. That is the best description ever.
Thank
IKEA
you.
furniture.
I try.
Oh my God. A lot of pieces. Bad direction.
Yeah.
So with that, let's wrap this up. Final thoughts before the season starts, less than 24 hours from now, and where the people can find you on the social. But first, it's where they can find all of us. So catch us everywhere. We're all over social media. You know this, but always available at tealtownusa.com. Hit us up with your favorite podcatcher. We do a lot of audio only stuff, whether it be on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, whoever. We just wrapped up today our Pacific Division preview, where we spoke with different people from different teams, whether it was Jenny Hockey about the Kings, whether it was Fireside Chat about the Calgary Flames, or the one and only Jeff Patterson from TSN 1040 about the Vancouver Canucks. We wrapped it up. All of it is on our SoundCloud or iTunes if you follow us there. So do us a favor. Go check those out. But as always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter. Oh my God, my tongue is okay. So Rocket, your final thoughts on where the people can find you on the social media channels.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rocket Backhander. Here's my final thoughts of the evening. everything you think you know about hockey, you probably will still know about hockey by the end of the year, but there's no way to predict what's going to happen because injuries. That's what keeps it fun, kids. So just remember, everything could be going along great, and the next day, well, half your face is missing. Ask Logan Couture. You can find me on the social media. Check me out on Instagram, Rocket Backhander, one word, taking fun photographs of my life here in Nashville as a Sharks fan. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's ironic. Other ways you can find me, let's see, you can get me on Twitter at ~R~B, Little Ackhander 76. Again, musings about hockey, lots of makeup, other things that interest me, like, well, teal. I love the color teal. Yeah, that's it. Hey, Jay.
All right.
Teal!
She's scanned in. Oh, Eric, where the people can find you and your final thought.
My final thoughts are, can we just get the regular season out of the way? Let's get to the playoffs and to that cup final where it will be San Jose versus Toronto for all the marbles, where we have a whole country go up against us.
I'll tell you what, it's gonna be the Canadians, and I'll tell you why.
Oh,
James Neal.
All Canadians?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, James Neal, Nashville Predators, Stanley Cup Finals, lost. James Neal, Vegas Knights, Stanley Cup Finals, lost. Canadians, James Neal, Stanley Cup Final, lost. Get it?
No, it sounds like the Calgary Flames are going to lose, is what it sounds like. I'm sorry, Eric, you were saying?
I was saying, the Sharks and Leafs in the final. Patrick Marleau versus the Sharks. Who's going to get their name on the cup? We shall see. Hopefully the Sharks.
Hey.
On the Twitter.
Congratulations on your dick trick. Thank you, Christina Marleau.
Yes, thank you for that so much. Twitter, Instagram, PuckGuy14. I will also help out on the Teal Town Instagram whenever I'm able to. Get ready, get psyched. It's the 28th season of Sharks hockey, and again, we're jumping on that roller coaster, and we can't wait to jump on there with you. So let's have some fun.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if you're going to the game tomorrow, there is a rally out on Autumn Street starting at 4:30. They're also going to be meeting up San Pedro Market Square. Of course, they're going to do the March to the Tank, think around 5:45. So follow Johnny Root, tall blonde guy who talks really, really loudly because he has a microphone. So why wouldn't you? He also has pretty damn sharp shoes, but they're always Vans. Not sure. He needs to put some Converse in there too. But that's just me. So my final thought is just win the game. That's always my final thought. Just win the game. Let's see this power play do some ridiculous amount of damage because it certainly did not during the preseason. So let's figure that out and move on. Quack, quack, ducks suck. And we will prove that tomorrow at the Tank. On the Soch, I am AJ_Strong, both on Twitter and on Instagram, but none of that matters. All that matters is Teal Town USA. Follow us at Teal Town USA on Twitter, on Instagram, our SoundCloud account. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. We actually have something coming up very soon. And so for the 30 some odd of you watching right now, you might be particularly interested. We want to drive this thing to over 1,000 subscribers this season. We're putting together a prize box, a prize package, a whole sort of interesting things in there. But one of the things that will be in there is 2 tickets for the Sharks versus the Columbus Blue Jackets on November 1st. There is a pair of Sharks sunglasses. There is a Donskoy dancing bobblehead. There's a few things in there, and but there might even be a jersey in there. So this is the whole thing. Spread the word about Teal Town USA. Get some people to subscribe to the channel. We'll be looking out on Twitter for all the people that promote, that say, hey, go subscribe to Teal Town USA on YouTube. And we're going to be picking some winners over the next 30 days. And like I said, one of you is going to end up with a pair of tickets. One of you could end up with a jersey. But the hashtag is Teal Town USA TTUSA 1000. So you tweet that, promote, and get people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. you're going to be winning some prizes, my friends. So with that, I will just say, Dylan Gambrell, we loved you. You'll be back, but this one's for you. Good night, everyone.